Hey, what's up, guys? You know, not everyone can own a gun or carry a knife. In fact, if you live in a certain area of the country, like in New York or California, the freedoms in terms of carrying weapons on you isn't what it is, say, like in a place like Texas, right? But my thing is, make your body a weapon. If you're a man, especially if you're a man, and you've been blessed with a natural strength, brute strength, and your body can be a weapon. You know, it's funny because it doesn't matter even if you live, like I live in California, and I live in a desert area, and you would think that the blight of urban drugs and gangs, drugs and gangs wouldn't be where I live, but it is. I had to walk through some of the main streets the other day to pick up my car from an oil change. I live in a small town, and I was surprised at how many homeless, drugs, and just how many people I had to come across that, that at any time they could flip. And then I realized that you have to always be ready. When I was in the military, we had a saying, stay alert, stay alive. But the best security you can have is not a gun, not a knife, but your own body. And this is why I train to make my body a weapon. And not to hurt anybody, but to defend myself, my family, and even sometimes to make the first move if you feel threatened, right? And most of the time, you won't have to engage in anything like that. The best thing to do is you stay away from situations that would put you in harm's way. However, when I briefly did Muay Thai, maybe for a year and a half, and they talked about the 8 weapons: your shins, your 2 shins, your 2 knees, your 2 elbows, your 2 hands. Because you're not always going to be able to have a knife on you or a gun. And in fact, you can get in legal trouble with that stuff. Best thing to do is make your body dangerous. In fact, if you make it look dangerous from an aesthetic perspective, a lot of people will think twice about messing with you. Making it look dangerous, being in shape, being fit, being physical, being strong, giving people an aesthetic that when they see you, they may think twice, like, that guy might give me a little too much trouble. I'll get the next guy. So you can make your body a weapon. Like what I do for my cardio, I do burpees. I do 110 burpees. I know a lot of people, they have their number 114, 113, 88, whatever. Well, the kingdom of Jesus Christ is my gang. So I do 110, inspired by Psalm 110:1, which is the most quoted Old Testament text in the New Testament. But I really believe in this culture that we live in, which is a culture predicated on drinking beer, eating chips, and watching sports, that men especially have become effeminate. And a lot of that is even in the gang culture where you see, I'm just going to be real. When I was growing up in the 80s, late 70s and 80s and early 90s, I would walk down up the street and you would see the cholos and they'd be in shape, man. These guys were like fit. Like you would see the gangsters, they were fit. But now you see them and it's just like a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them beer bellies because they're drinking beer. And by the way, drinking beer is okay, but the thing is, drinking beer, too much beer, it gives you effeminate characteristics. Your chest will give you man boobs. It will the beer belly from the yeast. It has what do women have? We have testosterone. They have it's off the top of my tongue. Well, the beer has those qualities that a woman has, and so you see the drinking of beer. You see the weed is also something that'll take your sharpness away. Weed, drugs, alcohol, all that stuff will destroy your body. And when we live in a dangerous society, you always want to be sharp. You want to be sharp mentally, spiritually, and even physically. And unfortunately, in this society, with the fast food society that we live in, fast food, overindulgence in drinking, and you can go in my city and you can see all these cannabis distilleries and dispensaries, and it's like these are all things that take away from the physical man, from a man being strong and sharp and prepared. And we live in a society that is very dangerous, especially if you live in California, New York, Chicago, and you always want to be ready for action. And that's what I do. That's why I train. Again, it's not to be, I don't train because I want to look great. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. That's good too. But I train for the simple fact that if I ever need to, I can spring into action. And I have a better chance of surviving because I've prepared myself physically. I've made my body a weapon to use so that I don't have to rely on a knife or a gun, And so in the society that we live in, we're in a Kali Yuga right now of degeneracy. And also, in my view, I'm a nationalist, and my goal is to assist in bringing this country back to its Christian, Protestant, Anabaptist Christian roots, away from the Bolshevik communists that are running roughshod in our country today. These toxic organizations. And so it's going to take physically fit men, mentally sharp men. But the best thing, because they can take our guns away. There's a lot of controversy about that, about gun violence and guns. And they want to take guns out of the hands of good people, moral people, and keep them in the hands of thugs and gangs and drug dealers and all that stuff. Well, even if they take your guns away, you still have your body. Okay? You still have your body, and your body was given to you by God to be used to protect the weaker people, the weak, the elderly, children, women. And you don't always need a gun. You don't always need a weapon, because that may not be feasible when the time comes. But you have your body. And make your body as strong as you could be, because our body can do amazing things. In my age, my strength right now is close to its peak when I played semi-pro football. It's close to its peak, And that's just from dedication, determination, living a healthy lifestyle. Okay? I do eat my share of junk food, but then I also eat good food. And because I eat good food too, and I'm active, the junk food doesn't really have an effect on me. So, watch what you put in your body. It's very hip and cool to smoke weed and smoke marijuana, but that doesn't help you. That's gonna dull your senses. That's gonna have a negative effect on your body. Now, I'm not an expert, so I have heard from people that there are healing qualities, so I don't know about that, but I'm just saying overall, marijuana is not a good thing. And the Bible calls something like that pharmakia, sorcery. Okay, because all that, sorcery, drunkenness, drugs, we have a culture where people get medicated right away for the simplest thing. A boy's too hyper in school, he has ADHD, give him medication, ADD, right? Instead of saying, well, maybe that boy shouldn't be sitting in a classroom listening to some old lady teach him for 8 hours, and maybe he should be more active. And that's the problem, is they're trying to effeminize men in this country. Why? Because once they do that, then they could bring in the New World Order. They can finalize the New World Order, I should say, because we're already in the New World Order. They can finalize it and make you a slave to their communist dystopia. But this hour is calling for men and women to be strong, to be vigilant, to be ready to spring into action, to make their bodies strong, keep their minds free from the toxic entertainment culture, the Kardashians, this degenerate music, the pop music, hip hop, all that stuff that's degenerate, that promotes like bad morals. You got to keep yourself free from that to make the mind sharp, make the mind clean, your spirit clean. All right, guys, have a good one.